have sacked Ruben Amorim after 14 months in charge. Here's a list of odds to be next manager. Enzo Maresca is currently the favourite. We've got the likes of Oliver Glasner in there, Gareth Southgate, Kieran McKenna, Mauricio Pochettino, but currently Darren Fletcher, the under-18s coach, has been brought in on an interim basis. Troy's getting reports maybe he could only be there for 2 games, but that's not official at the moment. What do we think about Darren Fletcher? My question is, could he do any better than what Ruben Amorim could have done over these next 6 months, Jeff?
Well, here we go again. This is the Manchester United rinse and repeat cycle, isn't it? They brought in Ollie, temporary manager, ends up getting the job. So maybe, to Troy's point, if Darren Fletcher's going to do a couple of games and then somebody is brought in as the interim manager, let's just make up a name. It could be anybody. Let's say Michael Carrick, who's available at the moment, and he's taken charge of Manchester United previously on a temporary basis. Say said person comes in as the temporary manager. What if he wins every game?
Yeah, it's always difficult when you put a temporary manager, because they can be successful. There can be a clamour.
Martin O'Neill at Celtic.
Exactly.
There can be a clamour to bring that person in. The problem that always happens, and I don't know why, but I had 18 managers at Watford, so I've seen this happen a lot. Like you,
there's a common denominator here.
Yeah, I see them all off, so be careful. No, but I've seen it. You have players who weren't involved, who were like squad players or on the bench. Suddenly, a new manager comes in, they start training immensely well. Those players come in, they play for a few games. Oh, this is the person, and then they go back to how they are. And I think when people show you who they are over a course of time, believe them. And I think Man United are showing us that they don't have a plan.
No.
They don't have a plan. They don't know what it's going to be. So you looked at that list there. Darren Fletcher, again, was working on the scouting team, was working on the board of directors. Now they've given him the 18s job. It seems like he's clearly a well sought after guy, knows his stuff, but we don't know where you fit. It's kind of like that little player who's a magician, but we can't play him as a 10. He's not quick enough. We can't play him on the wing because he doesn't beat people. But we're going to keep him in the squad and we'll try and figure it out. That's what I think with Darren Fletcher. When I look at what they need, I think Areola is the one for me that jumps out from Bournemouth. Again, out of contract in the summer. But is he going to leave Bournemouth right now? And especially when all the noise is that he points to one obvious replacement. Get to the summer and take Oliver Glasner for free. That seems the obvious one. Do you risk it from a business point of view and go, okay, doesn't matter if we missed out of Champions League? I don't think they can run that risk.
Well, the other elephant in the room is there's a gentleman, formerly of West London, currently unemployed and available.
But
so that could...
Mourinho.
Would Maresca go there? Isn't it a similar setup to how Chelsea is at the moment with the board and the management?
Yeah, it's a good question, Hannah. But that is the football landscape now. We could be having this conversation about so many different clubs. You're not in charge of who the club buys. You're not in charge of who the club sells. You have an input. And then all of a sudden, and it seems to me one of the biggest problems you've got there, you can't run anything by committee. You can't, any organisation, you can't run it by committee. You have to have people who are empowered in particular areas to make decisions. Yeah, but you know what the problem is? That now in football, we have a lot of non-football people making those decisions. Mm-hmm. And then you give all of those non-football decisions that ended up going awry to a manager, to a head coach. and that head coach has to make flowers out of something that's impossible to make flowers with, right? That's a very difficult part that we're in. So equally then, Nico, given we've discussed at length all the faults, all the problems with Manchester United, which are not unique to Manchester United, although the size of the club, they are still billed in many quarters as the biggest football club in the world. That's why I think people are still going to want to take the job. 100%. It's still Manchester United. They're going to want to take the job, but I'm not so sure that the perfect job, where the manager is in charge, who they buy and sell, I'm not sure that exists anymore. It goes with the territory. I think and it's just how much you have an understanding and how much you trust with. Okay, let's say we send Troy for an interview somewhere at a club, and Troy will come back. It's not perfect, but yeah, I quite like the feel of them, and I think that I can work with these people.
Also, there's no one that's going to get that like full-on experience that you're going to say, all right, here are the keys to the castle, unless you're like Pep or Klopp.
No, but even that now, I think the landscape's changed. You've got to go in, win, prove yourself, then you get the keys to the castle.
Yes.
Whereas before it was, we're going to hire you, give you the keys to the castle, and see if you can perform. One name I want to throw at you really quickly, Nico. An interesting one. For a short term. Would Zidane be interested?
I don't think so. I think Zidane is waiting for the French job, post-World Cup.
But I mean, you know, to wet his whistle to get that appetite, because where's the coaching Russ?
Why risk his reputation when he's basically reportedly has the French job locked up post
would be a big risk as well, having not coached in that division either, wouldn't it, as well? I'm not saying he's not an amazing coach, but I don't think it's a risk that they need to take.
Not that they need to take, that Zidane needs to take. Yeah. United comes off and say, hey, can you fix this for us for 6 months? Nah. Why? I've got the French job lined up with superstars in a great ambiance, especially a player like a manager like Zidane that's such a player's coach, such a man manager.
So who do we think is the ideal coach for Manchester United?
You right now,
Southgate.
The obvious one would be Southgate, and this just speaks to Ineos's stupidity. Southgate's best friend in football was who?
Dan Ashworth.
Dan Ashworth, who we worked with at England, who got him in at England, and you've just got rid of him. So even if it was at Gareth Southgate to fix relations, to get people feeling good and get them to a point, you've just annoyed his best friend. Why am I now going to come and work with you? Yeah, it just, to me, I think if Dan Ashworth was there, Dan would have been able to have this conversation with Gareth now and be like, look, do us a favour, come and get back. I think they would have been able to pull on the heartstrings to get him in. I think now, with where Gareth is at in life and doing a lot of talking, and he's out of the spotlight, I think he's very content.
Sorry, Hannah. Does it need somebody like Thomas Tuchel, who's not afraid to ruffle feathers, who will say to them, "No, this is how we do it," and be really, really hard with them? Yeah, but or is that a recipe for disaster?
United don't have the liberty to wait until the World Cup to see if Tuchel then becomes available. What if Tuchel wins the World Cup and he stays with England? Then you're out of an option A.
What do you mean, what if?
My question is, Troy, you've just said there that Man United they want to bring in a manager who has to prove himself for the first couple of months and then they can take full reign. It almost sounds like you're saying they need a yes manager, a manager who will say yes. Could Kieran McKenna be that type of manager? We're seeing Liam Rossinier at Chelsea. Yeah. No disrespect, he is potentially a yes man for the first couple of monthts. Could we see that with Kieran McKenna coming in?
I think that's just becoming football in general now. I think the directors of football are becoming like the mafia. They're untouchable, and everybody else underneath them falls short. We were just talking about it in the break. I think Kieran McKenna is a top coach, really good guy. I just think, again, if I've been there as a player, when you walk through the door, I need to see and feel why you're here. If Kieran McKenna, who just got relegated out of the Premier League and is second in the Championship, walks into Man United, he's not walking into Fulham, he's not walking into Brentford, walks into Man United and says, right guys, this is how we're going to do it, and it's the complete opposite to what they've been doing.
Yeah, but he was considered
2 days.
He was considered before, wasn't he, Troy? But around Ten Hag.
Yeah, but everyone's considered. You can search up any manager and he's considered. I agree with Troy.
Because he's known at the club. He's been at the club.
But you need to have a certain aura when you step into and command respect with your credibility as a manager. Because again, it's not like Ipswich. If the players don't believe you, the moment you walk in through the door, the moment you start speaking at a club like Manchester United, it's a lost cause.
I'd love for you to message your brother privately and then let me know privately. What happens is, again, go back to Watford, had a lot of these subs. You have a meeting, day one. Coach A has been announced. We got Nico as our coach. First thing we do before we go in, text anyone that knows him. Anyone that's been at
what a great guy.
What is he like? How is he? This, that, the other.
Charming.
Most people say full of it, just read stats. I don't agree with that. But we get to this point where you have this perception before you go in. Then you have your very first encounter. Does he shake your hand? Does he walk past you? Then you have your meeting. So even three times now. And the meeting, if his meeting isn't precise, to the point, and makes you go, wow, ooh, who's this? It's more or less dead.
Wow.
It's more or less dead. And then you have your first training session. If your first training session is tactics and you're stood around, forget it. It's never going to work.
Troy, do players as well now? In the old days, a new manager would come in and all the lads would sit around and say, right, we better be sharp. We've got to impress this new guy. We've got a new manager. I need to impress him to make sure I'm in his plans. Now,
it's the other way around.
Now, new manager comes in, the players look at him and say, right, what's he going to do for me?
100%.
What is he going to do for me?
Unless there's no way around it. So this is where I think Arsenal got it spot on, Man City have got it spot on. All the best clubs in world football, when that alignment is there, you can't go around him. And they're like, I remember we had Marco Silva come in, obviously he's at Fulham now, and he came in, wasn't impressed with me by any stretch at the start because I've been there a long time, probably wasn't the right profile type for him. And I remember his first meeting, we all left and went, uh-oh, we're going to have to step it up a bit here. Because he didn't come after everyone, but he literally went, you've been here a long time. I was like, yes, coach. He's like, do you want to be here by Jan? Turned to Etienne Capoue, who played for the French national team. Hey, you used to be at Spurs. Why are you here?
Oh.
Ooh. So he starts to put all the pressure on you guys. Hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. We're going to train well. I've got my fitness guy there. He's going to get you fit. This is what we're going to do with food. Here's how we're going to be tactically. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give you everything every day. But also, what are you going to do for us? And instantly, as soon as we all left out, it was, so you get out your chair, you're like, time to get on it.
But you think if Manchester United, going back to Manchester United, like I get that, it's almost like Machiavellian in a sense. You have to stamp your authority because you don't want to lose it. And if it's all aligned, even better because you're reinforced from the top down. No one's reinforced from the top down here.
Very quickly, what's the one characteristic the next manager of Manchester United or head coach has to have? One word.
Authoritative.
Credibility.
And with how it is now, what position do you think they're going to finish, Nico? They're 6th currently, real quick.
At the end of the season?
Yeah, right now with how it is.
They'll finish 7th. Thanks for watching this video.
Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations, following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. It's a collaboration between the two, Arteta explained. He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score. But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe, Arteta said. But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good. That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.